Today is Thursday, the 8th day of February 2024, and it's past 5 p.m. BIAFRA time, and you can rate it to your time looking. I want to welcome you to this live broadcast today, and as usual, I would always implore you to, as you join in, just share the broadcast on all your social media forms and ensure that you subscribe to the channel. This is Truth Channel Network, and what we do here is to give you consistently and constantly about the truth narrative that is supposed to be the leading force to redemption, freedom. Nothing else leads us into freedom but truth. You shall know the truth. The truth will make you free. It's a process, so it would make you free. It will. It makes. It's a process. I want to thank you for joining wherever you're watching from, and would always want to appreciate you, and of course look forward to your words and comments. Those of you who are on the path of truth. Welcome to this live broadcast today. I would be doing a revelation, a very factual revelation today. But before we go on in this particular broadcast, remember, if you look at the theme or the topic of today, it actually took a different toll from what I did yesterday. And it was supposed to be a continuation of yesterday's a continuation of yesterday's broadcast, but I'm going to be giving some other analysis that would help us, especially in relation to the things that are happening around the zoo, and of course, generally in relation to what I'm going to be explaining today, what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu himself did say, a very revealing factor, very, very important, that you need to know and that is important. And that factor that he made mention of, which triggered, his kidnap and extraordinary rendition from Kenya. That there's a particular thing he said that dazed everybody, especially those in the contraption, the British system and its proxy, which is Nigeria, and all those factors. There's something he said that's really triggered. Remember, the first factor was ESN, Eastern Security Network, but there's something he said that triggered that they had to do. It had to be whether, however it is, do or die, they have to get him, and I'll be revealing it to you today. Very, very important. So that I want you to reason along that line. And then that particular thing he said would be a yardstick for you to measure the actions of those who are claiming to be fighting for freedom today, and to know that they are actually out of place, because what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu actually stands for is contrary to what they are doing today. I want to welcome you. Please remember, as you come in, just share this broadcast on all your social media platforms. This is Truth Channel Network. Remember, we actually were Biafra Global Network. But when we talk about Biafra, there are so many interpretation of Biafra to so many people. It means so many things based on their tiffin mindset or their just mindset or their innocency or whatever. But it means so many things to people. But when you use the word truth, truth is constant. It means truth at all times. You can never place lies to make it true. It's not possible. Truth is truth, because lies means something that is not real. Anything that is not real, that is not evident, it's a lie, means that it's not true. So it's contrary. So truth means anything that is real. If I say this, if I say the time is 23 minutes past 5 p.m. Biafra time, and you look at your wristwatch, or you look, if I give you another time that is different from what the time is now in Biafra land, you say, no, that's a lie. That means it's not real. It's not evident. That's what truth represents. That's why we call this Truth Channel Network, where people can connect and get facts of truth and the concept of truth. I want to welcome you one more time. Now I'm going to be giving you some analysis today. Yesterday was um, whether I've lost connection. It seems the network seemed to be bad. I'm seeing some signal here, giving me some bad signs of the network. Now, yesterday was a football match between the 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 British business name called Nigeria and South Africa, and it was interesting. But one shocking thing that that happened, which I want to encourage people to try to be very very careful, especially when you don't have the when sudden death these days is so prevalent. Because so many people are going through hell that sometimes you don't know what they're going through. It doesn't matter how much you have in your bank account. So many people are actually going through hell, and it only takes people to that's why you have to be an encouragement to people around you. And there was a particular news of an NYSC, what do we call them now? Um, you know, NYSC, is it, what do they call them? National Youth Service Corps member who collapsed during the period of, I mean, yesterday when he was watching the news. I'm sorry, was watching the football. He collapsed and died, and I began to wonder what really made this guy die. That some people are already having some sickness in them, and they don't know. Some people are hypertensive. So many things are happening because of the situation and the stress people are going through. People are going through hell and stress, and he collapsed and he died because football has a way of you know exuding your emotion, and that is one of the things that made me stop watching it. I just want to hear what the scores and all of that. That's it, because so many people cannot cope with. I remember in early times when I was a very very ardent watcher of football. I could be very emotional. I mean, I follow it keenly and emotionally, and you see your heart beating. You just feel your heart beating inside of you, as if your heart is going to pound out of your chest. And I want to encourage those of you, if you know you don't have the stamina to watch these things and you don't have the courage to disconnect your emotion from your senses when you're watching football, or control your emotion with your senses when you're watching football, please don't do that. Don't watch, so that you don't get into trouble. There's one other man I saw in the news also that collapsed and died yesterday. He was a former aide to the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, and he collapsed also and died watching football. Hypertension doesn't have any respect for anyone. Because of the tension in the world, people can be hypertensive and so many things happening and going on all around and wrong and all around. And so please, let's watch this so that we can always be on the right track and not get ourselves messed up, by situations. Now I want to begin today with there's a particular there's a problem with the network. Please bear with me if it goes off. I think sometimes this network thing gets crazy, and then sometimes it becomes restored. Now, this Baba Yusuf, the man who is the chief justice or the chief judge, actually not a nation. It represents a business template, not even a template, yes, a business template, fundamentally a template that runs a program on behalf of the colonial masters, stealing your resources, taking everything that belongs to you, and jumbling you guys together, make you fight within yourselves, amongst yourselves, so that you can You would not concentrate on where your problem is coming from. And now they have used this kind of chief judge to put his daughter when other places, other parts of the contraption are not represented. This particular chief justice puts his daughter as a third judge in a court. And you begin to wonder, what about other people? Why would he put his daughter there? Because she has to cover his ass, along the line when he retires. That's the nature and the fundamentals of Nigeria. When you talk about corruption, it is not strange. It is not foreign to the narrative of Nigeria. It is actually what makes up Nigeria. So why are you surprised about that? Why are you surprised about corruption when you know that it runs, with the narrative of Nigeria? So if he takes his daughter as a chief judge, I'm sorry, as a judge, then he is actually obeying the rule of the composition of Nigeria. You should be surprised at something that is supposed to be what it is. You should be surprised at yourself, be surprised of something that is supposed to be what it is and expressing what it is. So you are the one we should be surprised at, who is surprised that Nigeria is Nigeria when it is actually spelled out and defined to be Nigeria, as corrupt as it is supposed to be. And there's a particular news that goes that in the Senate they discovered, is it the Senate or National Assembly or so, the Senate or something? Yeah, the Senate. They said they discovered $400 million that has been lying in the bank for a long time and all of that. Now you see, one thing that you guys should understand about the Nigerian narrative is this: as they keep committing crime, doing lots of, doing the criminality, doing all of the things they want to do, they know you're going to complain. You are going to always complain along the line. You're going to talk about what is going on. These people are stealing from us, and we're going to have to do something and all of that. And then one time they come and give you a particular news so that you will be distracted. The news is that a particular money is lying down somewhere or lying somewhere that has been kept by somebody who is in the past administration or a previous administration, or somebody that is anonymous. Maybe they will not tell you, or maybe they will tell you. And then it now diverts your attention and your energy to fighting and complaining and talking about that person, and somehow giving compliments to the people who have discovered it right now, that these kinds of things happen, at least to for you to give them somehow a compliment. But now they also put you in this situation where, of course, your heart tells you that something is going to happen now that they have discovered this stuff. The person who have discovered it, or the people who have discovered it, what are they going to use it for? Just like when they were talking about Abacha's loot. Sorry, not loot. Abacha's loot. Now, they were telling you so amount has been recovered, so millions of dollars recovered at a particular time, every time a particular amount is recovered. But before Abacha, there were some other people, and after Abacha, there were some other people. None of them. IBB was one of those who did major stealing. Abdusalami did major stealing. And so many people like that. Tafawa Balewa, those ones are dead, and nobody's talking about those ones, and all of that. And so many people like that who have come and who are gone. They stole. Now the one who is dead, who is like a scapegoat, being used to distract you. You should understand that as a system called Nigeria, it is actually a product of deceit and manipulation. When you get yourself engaged on social media every time, and every time you're complaining and talking about Nigeria and complaining, that is the assignment they have given to you. Because as a slave, you should be distracted with the duties they have given to you. You should always focus on the duties and do it, so that you don't have time for yourself. You don't have time to think of yourself and reason along the line of your future and all of that. All you do is you're always busy. Don't you notice that slaves are always given duties and duties, yes, and responsibilities always. They're always working because they need to continue to work and continue to do the same thing at the same, every time, and get less of sleep and get stressed more, because when you are stressed more, you long for sleep, and the time you're going to sleep, you will not have the ability to reason, because you just go and fall and just knock off, and you sleep off, and then you wake up again thinking of duties, and then the little time you have to sleep again, you will sleep deep because you are stressed and tired. That is how slaves are wired, because they want you to keep working, and then when you want to have your rest, you would not be able to sit down to reminisce over things or think over about things because you are so tired. And so even when you want to try to think and reason about your life and all of that, you will just fall asleep. And before you know it, it's morning or very early, you're waking up again, going through the duties and walking through those processes, getting yourself worked up again for another day, and like that, and like that. And of course, lifespan is shortened by such kinds of stress. So slaves are programmed and wired to continually be at work and then having less of sleep so that they don't have the capacity to reason along the line of putting things together, to reason along the line of getting themselves free. So that is the same narrative that the politicians and all of their proxies, the British contraption and everything about the British contraption, including the British Empire, is doing to make you every time on social media you're busy, they throw a news to you, you complain, you talk about it, you hope, and then you keep hoping and all of that, and you keep hoping. You keep hoping. We heard a news, of course, of the Chibok girls, the ones that were kidnapped during Jonathan's time. Remember, during that Jonathan's time, Obama was everywhere. His wife was everywhere. Bring back our girls. They were fighting against another tribe, controlling the contraption because they believe that once it is in the hands of the Fulanese or maybe the Yorubas, it will always be secure. So that tension they were in of these things being this power being out of the hand of you know of those in the east was very, very important to them and all of that. And so they wanted it to always be outside that, because even if they feel that you are their stooge as someone who is from the east or from the Afro nation or whatever, they still are afraid that you can be very dangerous. They still are afraid that you can be very dangerous. They're always afraid that those who are from the east are very dangerous, even if you give them power, even if they are your stooge. Just like what Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing now. You see, the people are beginning to wake up very well, anyways. But I tell you, what he is doing has an underground plan. Even if he's not conscious of it, anyhow it is, there is something happening that is going to give the people their freedom very quickly. Now, the main agencies are being brought back to Lagos. People, the Northerners will start complaining. Everywhere there's complaining. Today, you hear of the protest everywhere. Things are going on. In fact, we hear the story. The Chibok girls that were taken recently are complaining. They said they want to go back to Boko Haram, that they were being taken care of by Boko Haram. They had been less taken care of by Nigeria. That Nigeria is a stress for them. That Boko Haram took care of them very well. Now they are hungry and they are starving. They want to go back. Chibok girls, those girls that were taken from school under terror, raped and all of that, impregnated, some of them impregnated, and now they are desiring the enemies. They are desiring the kidnappers. That is what Nigeria represents, because they want to put you in a situation where you begin to you don't think well, you reason irrationally. And then when you reason at that point, then they can conquer you. Now, what have they succeeded in doing in the minds of these Chibok girls? By these girls complaining and begging to go back to Boko Haram and complaining and saying that their captors, their slave masters, is better than this so-called freedom they have now. It simply means that they prefer to be under the chains of slavery rather than being free. That defines what Nigeria represents. People, they will put you in a situation, they will keep oppressing you, and you will keep longing to belong to Nigeria because you think that is where your hope is. That if you go on social media right now, you would see many people telling you that where else do we go? Nigeria is the only country we have. We have to safeguard it. We have to do this. We have to do that. They are talking about slavery, a slavery entity, an entity that solidifies or confirms their slavery. They prefer to be in it than to think of their freedom, because they are afraid of freedom based on the fact that freedom comes with challenges, or freedom really comes with them exuding their intellect or taking up challenges and being at risk. So these Boko Haram girls now, these Chibok girls are saying they want to be with Boko Haram because they are hungry now. The same way Nigeria want to put you in a situation where you will be hungry and you'll keep longing to belong to Nigeria, because when you keep getting hungry, you keep thinking that the only solution is for Nigeria to be good. And this is a very dangerous situation for any slave. Anytime, that is why today we have so many people supporting criminality, and smiling over criminality, taking for granted criminality, because slavery, when slavery gets to the point where you just take anything for granted, when you get to the point where anything can be taken for granted, then you have gotten yourself to the place where it is very difficult. That is why today we have so many things going wrong. So many things going wrong. And people are endorsing Nigeria still, endorsing those ones who are claiming to be fighting for freedom for them and all of that, in spite of the fact of the criminality is evidently clear that this thing is criminal. Evidently clear. You remember in Kaduna also, is it kind of Mina, or Niger State, Mina? One Aisha and co, they led protests against the hardship and all of that. Aisha Jibril, they led protests against what they're going through, against the hardship. I now was arrested, and some of her, those ones who initiated that, coup. I mean, sorry, that protest. They are protesting that they need food. They are protesting for something to be good for them so that they can have good life. And you are arresting them. What does that tell you? It is illegal for you to protest in a contraption that is already designed to be criminal. How can you be protesting? You are supposed to understand that this is what it is. But they were arrested. Aisha Jibril, they said they have released them right now. So you can imagine the situation and the evil that is going on in Nigeria. So much evil. So much evil. I don't know if the network is clear. I believe it's clear, you know. Now, there's another story coming from Nigeria, because I just want to give you all these stories so that you can understand the situation we're in. And then before we begin to relate with what definitely Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said, that is very, 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 very important that we should remember, which of course should make us put things in perspective at this time as we await his coming back. Now, some ladies were kidnapped recently, you know, you know, and I think it's Katsina State. Yes, Katsina State. They were, kidnapped, and the people who kidnapped them raped them, ladies, women, young girls, and now they are telling those people, they are telling the Nigeria's contraption and everybody that about 62 of them, also they were up to 70 something or 70, and some jumped out of the truck as it was moving, you know, but 60 something, 62 or so were taken, also more than. And they were, did you know what the captors, those people who kidnapped them, the terrorists who kidnapped them, is saying? Or they are, sorry, what they are saying? They are saying that they are going to, they kidnapped a bride. These people were escorting a bride to her matrimonial home in Katsina State. They were escorting a bride to her matrimonial home. She is on her bride. She's a bride, dressed like of course, as a bride. She is going to her husband's place, being escorted by some people. Had a wife, like a man who is also complaining. His wife is there. He's about 13 children also, and like that also, and other relatives. 60 something people kidnapped, escorting a bride. Now, only God knows what they have done to the bride. They would have raped her in tons, raped other women in tons. Now they are telling the Nigeria contraption and other people that if they don't bring 100 million, they're going to marry the bride, and they're going to marry the bride, and then they're going to marry other women away, including people's wives, the young girls, and all of that. The bride, who is supposed to go to her husband's house in Katsina State, was kidnapped alongside those who were escorting her to, other ladies escorting her to the husband's place. Now they are saying they're going to marry her off to one of their terrorists. He's going to marry her, and then they're going to, give others ones to other terrorists to marry. That is how evil Nigeria has become, and these kinds of things cannot happen in. Look at what is happening in Israel today. 1,000 and something people were killed. 1,400 or so were killed by Hamas. They penetrated Israel, shot, killed, burned some alive, and all of that. Do, do you know that for the past 4 months now, of course, Israel is still bombarding Gaza. About almost 30,000 people have been killed as we speak within 4 months. just because 1,400 people, we're not just commonizing it as just because. No, I'm using that word just because I'm trying to make you check the their mindset. Because this number, for you to attack this number of people. Now, did you know that between last year and now, over about 4,000, you know, people have been kidnapped by terrorists? 4,000. Now you can imagine that just one attack, the nation of Israel, today, over about almost 30,000 now, 28,000 plus, or almost 30,000 now, have been killed in Gaza. The place, half of Gaza City has been leveled. They want to go into Rafah now, where over 1 million people have entered again, and they're going to displace many people. And many people are going to die there because most of them are clustered in that place. Rafah is close to the border of Egypt, and Egypt is not allowing anybody come into their place. They are fighting. Now you can imagine that in spite of all of this stuff, nobody's saying anything in the contraption. Nobody's saying anything. The president is not saying anything. It's like everything is normal. It is when the politicians feel threatened, like those House of Assembly, they can't go to their village again to go and woo all those girls and all of that. And they can't go to their constituencies and go and show big manism, as we call it, to go and prove that they are big men. Then they will now come to their chambers and begin to say that the terrorism, they are killing our people in my constituency. I cannot even go. I cannot even travel. We cannot even travel. They are doing it not because they love the people, but because sometimes they want to go there and display their wealth and then give tips to some people and then pick some of the young girls there and use them, and then, just for their greed. So you can imagine that numbers like this are being taken regularly and things are going on normally as if nothing is happening, nothing is going wrong in that contraption, as if nothing is going wrong, as if nothing is going wrong. Who in their right mind would expect such kind of place to continue to exist? Who in their right mind? Who in their right mind? Everything seems to be wrong in that contraption. Everything is wrong. Everything is wrong. Things are going wrong. Everything they do is wrong. Yet some people are still. You imagine some people giving 7 days ultimatum to the president to normalize things in the system. Some people are talking about going on protest in London, on the issue of what is happening in the contraption. Now, you want to go on protest. You had a protest at Lekki and other places. People were killed. You always have protests, yet you still keep having the situation persisting in that contraption. You still keep having the stuff. The stuff continues. The stuff continues. You still want to keep protesting. Now, the funny thing about Nigerians and their mentality is that they think they would still do the usual thing they keep doing and get a different result. The worst kinds of people that exist are people who keep doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. The worst kinds of people. Those kinds of people are debased in the realm of their mind. When you keep doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. It's just like this Biafra project where Biafra stuff now that we're into. I've heard them talking about currency. Of course, gradually they have to hurry to do things because they want to be the ones to silent Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Hurrying to do things. They're talking about currency now. We're waiting for them to see the currency they're going to bring out. It's a digital currency first, and they want to bring out a currency and they said it's going to be useful and they're going to use it. People should start buying and all of that. And I begin to wonder, even Mazi Nnamdi Kanu himself said he doesn't have the power to initiate currency because there are some things that you should understand as somebody who has common sense. You don't need to go to university to understand some things. You don't need to go to university. Because this is Truth TV, and when we begin to tell you this stuff, this is not Truth TV, this is Truth Channel. Before you go on to relate it to the Truth TV that actually asked his master when if Biafra was still going to come in 2023, and he was called an illiterate and a stupid person, an idiot. When all of them were called idiots. Now listen, No currency can survive without international recognition of that currency, which means that I must have relationship with nations. I must have a base or a particular reserve or a particular image of my territorial control to be able to use currency. If I want to buy some stuff now, I need to buy some stuff that I can utilize. Now we're living in a globe, the world is a globe where currencies, remember this issue of currency started last year and it has come up again. This last year, February was what began this issue of currency. This issue of currency began last year, February. If you remember, 1 year ago, we had the issue of currency, and that was one of the things that made brought the division and separation, which of course, in spite of the suspicion of the fact that we kept having meetings and what we were discussing on the media platform then, as we have our media team meeting, is that let's just wait and see when February ends, we would know whether Biafra will be restored, or as it is said, there will be no election. Let's just keep quiet so that this guy can put his strength, that means the guy in Finland, the criminal in Finland, can put his strength into everything, as he has said that he has put everything in place without giving details to even the people working with him. If I tell you now, right now, that even the people working with him don't have no details, everything he's doing is in his head. The only person who knows have details of what they are doing are those ones who are in the finance, Azuka, Erewa, and other people, and Ngozi. Those ones who are bringing the monies and those ones who are in the finance, those are the ones who know what is happening right now, because Ngozi has been brought into the mainstream. But every other person who is in the cabinet, they're just there busy. Their work is to think and reason and bring out a concept and give to him. He will come to social media. He'll come on social media and announce it to you. That's what they are doing. There is no understanding of what is happening. So if you think that you have a system, a structure where everybody understands what they are doing, they are just there. And that's why, because they are kept in the dark, they think that things are going on very well. That was what we thought when we were there. We just felt, well, he's telling us, because we want to go by the words of his mouth, which was dangerous, because you don't have a nation and you just go by what people say. Now, what you do, you trust, but you have to confirm. Confirmation comes by accountability. That means, showing the records and showing what you are doing. Which means, if I am going to believe your words, as the fact that I believe you because I know you personally, in nationhood or in an organized system, your words are not enough. In even just a business, in a shop business, you just come and the person who is working for you tells you that I might have sold biscuits today for 5 naira. I sold the other. There is no 5 naira biscuit now, anyways. I sold biscuit for so amount. I sold this. You check the records. Where is the records? You check it, and then when you check the records, you now take stock of the business. Take stock to verify if what you have in the shop is quantizing with what you have in the books. So if it confirms that yes, truly, it is only one biscuit that was sold today, then you can see from your taking stock, you have not understood that it is one biscuit, and in the books, it's one biscuit. So that is when you know your records are straight. But even if that person had told you initially that it's only one biscuit that was sold, their words and their trust in their words is what makes you confirm. In business, you confirm to prove that you trust. I don't know what, I just want people to get this. Anything that has to do with nation building, anything that has to do with business, anything that has to do with two different people coming together on a particular contract or a deal, aside you, even when you are doing your own thing, you need to write them down and have records. When you are doing anything you want to grow and anything you want to stand as precedence to your future, what precedence means is that as an example to what you can refer to later, tomorrow, to say, yes, this is how we did it yesterday, and this is how we have to do it today, because yesterday's action, as we did it well yesterday, gave us result. It makes you, it gives you an ability to manage what you are doing in the sense of consistency and improvement, innovation, and all of that. When you have a system, the only way you confirm that you trust in business, in nation building, in whatever you do, is not by just opening your mouth and say, we trust him. No, it is by taking records and making sure you confirm what they say. That is when you actually prove that you trust that person in office. It is not it is not a proof of suspicion. It is a proof of trust. In fact, when someone is working on your behalf and serving you, and you don't check and confirm what they are doing on your behalf, you have proven that you don't trust them. Somebody might wonder, how does that, how do you mean by that? Because by not trusting them, you have shown your inability for your future strength and growth. Because you cannot trust someone and not give them the opportunity to make sure that they don't break that trust by the loophole you create. Because you create a loophole for the person you trust when you don't have checks in place. I want people to understand this before, because I'm trying to say this before I go into the particular revelation I'm going to give you today about what made them actually go all the way to make sure Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is kidnapped, and then using this as a yardstick to measure what is happening today. Trust is fundamental and confirmed when you check to confirm what has been said or what is agreed on. The only way you put yourself in danger, put the project in danger, and put the person that you claim to love, whom you have put in position, in danger, and to make them spoil the whole thing, is to give them the leverage not to confirm or to put down what you have trusted them or you are entrusted into their hands. When you do that, you actually hate those people and you want to destroy them. Today, what has happened to the guy in Finland, the criminal in Finland? You have actually destroyed him, and he now feels so powerful by himself, to himself. He now has taken your trust and everything for granted. He now has taken it for granted to the point now that he could even call Mazi Nnamdi Kanu a criminal. He could even defile the narrative of nation building. He could even mess you and disgrace you in the Committee of Nations. Somebody was asking him a question today: how are you going to use your currency? Somebody was asking him a technical question. What he could do was insult the person, asking the person, what are you doing here? You know why? Whenever you ask him a question that he knows that triggers truth, that would cause him to reveal things and say things the way they are, and where you are going to face yourself truthfully, he comes with attacks to resist that narrative of truth. Let me give you an example. 2 years ago, there was a particular with is it Doctor, what do they call that guy, Doctor something, you know, and there was this interview when he came in. He came in high. If you observe, he was high and he came in attacking because he knows that he's going to come before questions that are going to be too real. And when those questions began to come, all he needed to do is to attack the people before they ask the questions. And when you want to find people who actually are not sincere, they attack questions that seem not to suit what they have in heart, suit what they feel, and what takes them away from the narrative they are trying to give you or the impression they want to give you. Now you have to be careful. That is where you know those who are truthful or not truthful. You are destroying yourself, your nation, your expectation, and everything if you don't check, if you don't confirm what you trust. Because the only thing you can't confirm is God. When God speaks, you can't. God is God. He is the same yesterday, today, forever. He's the creator of the universe. He has formed us all. He has designed everything for his own use and all of that. He has created us and put us into this thing. We that are created are limited and not perfect. So for me to wish you good is for me to confirm that you are doing the right thing. All of you jubilating around the guy in Finland are just all of you claiming to love him actually don't actually love him. In fact, let me tell you the truth. It is somebody like me and other people who are challenging him to come to the narrative of transparency and accountability that are actually proving that we love him. because that is where we confirm, we make him confirm and sit upright to make sure he doesn't go. I don't know why I don't see messages. I want to confirm if messages are really coming, if there's a message being sent, if there are messages being sent, on the broadcast. I don't know. I'm not seeing a message anyways. So let me confirm if people are sending messages. I want to confirm that. So, okay, no message yet. No message yet. So, okay. So some people are just listening. So no message yet. Now, here we are having this particular narrative, you know, of, hey, you're asking for accountability. Hey, all these enemies of Biafra. We are the ones who actually love the guy because we don't want him to fall. We don't want him to spoil what we are trying to do. We don't want the future to be destroyed. We don't want things to go bad. So when we ask for accountability, we are putting things in perspective. And because we love him, we don't want him to abuse his opportunity. Did you know that today it would have been a very unique stance for us, and the world will not take us for granted? Don't you notice something? That after the election, I want to tell you guys something because some of you don't reason. Please give me 1 minute. Let me set this stuff. Yeah, I want more light. So I have to open the stuff because it's getting dark. Now, don't you notice something? Haven't you noticed something? That after the um the election of February last year, 2023, all those people who were coming out and strong and talking because they were thinking that something was going to happen during the election. They were thinking that this guy talking about no election actually had everything in place. And that's one of the things also that got, I'll tell you, this is one of the things, of course, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said. This is the kind of pattern of what dazed them also, the pattern I'm going to give you. But I'm going to give you this analysis from the criminal in Finland right now. Now, in last year, when he was 2 years ago, and last year, when he was bragging that there will be no election in Biafra land, everything has been put in place. Don't you see people like ordinary president and other people were, it was like, hey, Nigeria, everything was going very, very, everything was like, everybody was shaking, especially those ones who don't understand what is being played. People like Ngozi Araboise, who are agents of Nigeria and all of that, they already don't understand what we're doing. They already know. And with some of the people in the Nigeria contraption, they already knew what they were doing. So, but those ones who were just working for Nigeria, who don't have the facts in their hands, didn't you notice that they were everywhere? Look at the ordinary president, the one that calls himself ordinary president, went all the way to explode in his program, talking to call the Finland High Commissioner. But after the election, they now discovered, oh, this guy is actually a criminal. He's actually deceiving the people and manipulating the people to make. Oh, he's just doing his business. He doesn't have anything to offer. Don't you notice something that none of them today are screaming anymore? Nobody's at that tension. Then the election is over. No, that tension that was then is no more there. It's no more there. Today he's talking about declaring Biafra. They are not even bothered. You can't stay in Finland. You said you have an army, you have a navy, you have um, air force. You cannot fly in with the help of your air force to Biafra land where you want to restore the Biafra you want to restore. You can't fly in. You're already planning. This is about how many months ahead? About 10 months or so ahead, or 9 months, 10 months ahead. You're already planning that you're going to do it in Finland. That means from now to the next 9 months, you don't have plan to even put anything on ground that can bring you back to Biafra land where Ojiku stayed and declared Biafra. You have plans already to declare it in Finland. So what would you be doing in the next 9 months to collect your money every Saturday? That's it, because now that he has given you a date to declare Biafra, you're excited. And then what he's going to keep you busy with is giving you analysis and news, relating anything that happens in Nigeria to himself, attributing them to himself, and then talking about self-referendum. That's what he's going to, and collecting all your details from you. That's the only all the things that people have been doing on social media, collecting statistics and all of that. That's the same thing he's doing. Statistics. Those who want Biafra. But this time around, he's doing it differently by collecting your details. And I pity some of you. Some of you are just so careless. You don't reason. You don't reason. I pity some of you who are in this careless, desperate attitude, putting up careless, desperate attitude at all times. Anything goes, anything that comes and screams, oh, yes, yes, action, action, now, 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 now. I remember when we were, in Assemblies of God Church those days, we have this slogan. It's a youth, you say action. They say action, you say now, now, now. Nobody want to think. It is action now, now, now. The action you are taking now, now, now. Have you ever sat down to think and dissect and analyze? What is the difference between this action I'm taking now and the action I took yesterday? Because the action I took yesterday gave me this particular result that didn't really give me what I really needed. If I'm going to take the same action I took yesterday today, that means I'm going to still get the same action I got yesterday, and I'll land into more frustration. So how do I make a different narrative this time around by building in the action I took yesterday and getting a better narrative for the next? That's how you reason. Anyone who thinks one way would always be stunted in their approach to life. Nobody is getting so desperate now and talking about this Biafra thing again and being on their toes, just like what happened before the elections, because people thought that things were on ground according to how it was said, not knowing that this guy was just doing his business, not his business. Now people now know, and they are no more that. Have you ever seen anybody, people coming up, even Shehu, the senator, who those days he would be tweeting. When Simon tweets, he tweets because he was thinking that truly these guys had something on ground. After that, do you see him relate with him? He doesn't. Today now he's go to Simon's platform today. He had to type a long note to Elon Musk. Does he need that? If he has something on ground, why is he talking to Elon Musk? He said he doesn't need anybody to do a self-referendum. Yes, you don't need anybody because it is just a self-referendum. And the reason why you don't need anybody is because it is not important to the actual action of referendum. When it is important to the actual act of referendum, you must have allies who would agree with what you're doing. They are going to complement it. By now, Finland would have complemented it on one of their platforms. We commend the so-called referendum being done by so-called prime minister. They would have to prove that yes, they respect his office as prime minister. No nation, organization is saying anything, and you are there jubilating that you are carrying out a referendum, and your so-called prime minister is planning 9 months, 10 months ahead to declare Biafra in Finland. That means in the next 9 months, he's not going to build his army so that he can be able to come in and come into Biafra land and his army protect him. In the next 10 months or 9 months, he's not building his navy so that his navy could be, if he could come through the sea, he can enter without Nigeria contraction stopping him, and he will declare Biafra in Biafra land. He is not building his air force so that he can fly in with either private jet or with military jet or whatever that he has, one of those ones he has acquired, fly in without being stopped and being bombed, with enough security in the air for him to come in and declare Biafra the way Mazi Ojukwu, can still call him Mazi Ojukwu, declared Biafra in Biafra land. When he jetted out of Biafra land, the Effiong and all of that handed over their sovereignty to the Nigeria contraption. Because you know why? You cannot hold the nation and declare that you have sovereignty when you are afraid and you are claiming that from outside. If you are claiming to be the leader, that is why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said he's going to come in and he's going to be in Biafra land to fight this narrative and get the freedom. That's what he said. Because he knew that he cannot stay in Britain every time on Radio Biafra talking and then declare Biafra. If not, he would have done it a long time ago. Because he was on Biafra matter for years. Have you forgotten? For years. He was on Biafra issue from 2009 or 10 also, and has been consistent. But he made sure he didn't make mistakes. One. to just jump and declare Biafra. No, he knows it's going to be a very big error because in the first place, it's going to lead to the death of so many people. Now, when he stays in Finland and declare his militia, that's I'm talking about Simon now, when he declares his militia group that he calls an army, which does not meet up the standard of an army. You know what an army means in national army? They have taken territory. Even if they have not taken the whole of Biafra land, they would have secured some territory so that even their leader can come into that territory and speak, and Nigeria cannot penetrate that territory. But there are militia groups kidnapping like Boko Haram and other people are kidnapping terrorists. What Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said is this. Let me go to what I want to tell you today. Now, remember when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu instituted ESN. This leads me to this. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said ESN is the arm of security for internal security of Biafra. That means ESN would make sure that the bushes are combed and our bushes and farmlands are secure. When he created that, Nigeria became disturbed. They became disturbed because they know that if he has a militia with guns now, it simply means that it was going to get. So they became so disturbed that they began to hunt ESN and doing lots of things against ESN. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu had to come online and say to them and said, the ESN is only a secret because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was conscious of the international. He doesn't want to shoot himself on the foot. He said, ESN is only securing our bushes. The day I am going to bring the army, you would know. Because the idea of any freedom fighting or any massive freedom fighting organization is to take an action, and that action at that time changes the narrative, which means if ESN has changed the narrative now that the Nigeria contraption and the Nigeria government is tensed, when the army is unleashed, it will change the narrative to the point of controlling territories, controlling our territory. That was it, because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is educated. He said, he told them when people were now trying to blackmail him, he said, ESN is just to secure our people in the bushes because the governors couldn't establish a security unit that would do that. So it was after he did that that now they now formed the Buwago, started sabotaging, trying to sabotage everything. Now, did you know what got Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? They had to go any level to make sure he's kidnapped. Because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said that the day he's going to unleash the army, listen, that Nigeria would know just know that that time he is ready to secure territories. That means secure the territory. That means his army, he's going to down Nigeria and dangerous. That was a massive plan. And they know that when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu says something, he's going to do it. And they know the implication of him saying that and the implication of him bringing out an army even after bringing out ESN. That was when the manhunt was, became very, it was tripled, the manhunt. Now, listen, if you look at that statement Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said, or if you reason along it very well, it simply means that the idea of ESN was actually not bringing that aspect of territorial control as at that time. But simply put, ESN was designed to lay the path straight for that. And if you listen to it, if you listen carefully to that again, go listen to it several times. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said it, and of course, if you can reason along that line very well, you will discover something. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was trying to tell you that the army of Biafra is not going to come and operate the way ESN is going to operate. The army of Biafra is going to come and operate differently because that is when the freedom mandate and the fight begins. And that would happen when he has acquired all he wants to acquire. When he has gotten all he wants to get, not to come and tell you that we have gotten, we are ready to fight, and then deceives you. No, not the one the criminal did in Finland, doing from Finland, where last year he's telling you that ESN is ready. They have armed them. Everything has been put in place. Everything has been put in place. Who does that? Freedom fighting, you come to, this is not just politics. In freedom fighting, you come to tell everybody that everything has been put in place to stop the election. And you now couldn't stop the election. You couldn't even, one of your men couldn't even come out to fire a bullet. You now say that it is propaganda. Is this politics? We're talking about freedom fighting here. That is why you should understand that you are being manipulated and deceived. Because somebody cannot tell you that in freedom fighting, not even in politics, politicians can tell you we're going to do this, we're going to do that, then they don't do it because they needed to put their opponents, on their toes. But when someone comes under the narrative of freedom fighting and says that we are going to stop the election and everything has been put in place, and that thing passed, they were now dancing here and there, telling you, you see, there's no people, some places no election, some, we succeeded, and start dancing around. Just know that you are in danger because the enemy has already weighed your strength. As soon as, observe this very well, since then nobody is going crazy about anything he says anymore. He only tries to attribute whatever they say on media because insecurity have been there right from time in the southeast. It is not now it started. Um, Blinken and other people, international people, have been coming into Biafra land, going out, and the politicians, Obasanjo and co, have been coming into Biafra land even before Simon was there and all of that. And they have been coming. But now he tried to make you feel that it is his action that is making them come. They have been coming before now. Things have been happening before now. Even during Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's time, it was even forceful then. So all these trying to attribute things to himself tells you that there's something. Why is when those times when these people do their actions, they always spell it out against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. They will mention him. They'll say this, and whatever they do, you will know they are talking about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He doesn't come out to tell you that somebody who is screaming that, "Oh, God bless Simon," in a football match is actually talking about himself. Or somebody say, "Oh, God bless Kanu," then Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will now come and tell you that that person actually is talking about him. He doesn't self-glorify himself. He doesn't self-glorify. He doesn't glorify himself. I wanted to make a tautology, self-glorify himself. Wrong. He doesn't glorify himself. He doesn't self-glorify. You, on your own, when something happens, you know that this is because of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's action. Now, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said this, that the day he's going to bring out Biafra army. Now look at what the criminal in Finland is doing. He brings a few people out because he's desperate to showcase people and say they're army, because he knows our people are looking for action. So he needs to keep you busy with words, making you feel excited. It is excitement that, now, why is he talking about currency now? Because he knows hardship. People are going through hell. So because people are going through hell, let me check one of the things he said about currency now and read to you. Our people need to reason. Honestly, we are really, really, really out of place in our reasoning faculty. Honestly. Okay, let me read this particular stuff he posted first. The United Kingdom signed defense agreement with Islamic State of Nigeria. Is it today they signed it? They composed Nigeria. They designed Nigeria. They made Nigeria Islamic. They put the Fulanis there. They know they are Islamic. So what is this stuff about? Because it has always been like that. They first went to old Imo State to survey where they will bomb. Well, what are you talking about here? Because in the first place, they have been there. They know it's Islamic. They've been coming into Imo State before now, even before Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped. They've been coming there. We are making public that if the United Nations, if the United join forces, they say join instead of joint forces. Let's just call it grammatical or maybe typographical. Joint forces with Nigeria. Okay, if the United join forces, who is the United? Is it the United Kingdom? Okay, if the United join forces with Nigeria to commit genocide against Biafra, it's again, they have been committing Biafrans. The ones that they have been committing, little people have been committing. Even Nigeria, military have been committing and all of that. He has not been able to do anything. The one that did at Zombie, he didn't do anything. He said he's going to stop oil, he's going to do this. He didn't do anything. Now, Britain, UK, she's now claiming UK wants to commit genocide. He couldn't do anything against. It's just like, you know, okay, he couldn't do anything against just the one that military came to Izombe to kill. Now it is Britain that he is now threatening that they will take the fight inside UK. Now the shocking thing now is that his people are jubilating over this. Somebody said we must stay focused. This is not 1967. Let the voting continue. He couldn't stop his own, the one happening in Nigeria. He couldn't stop do anything against the genocide being committed over time, including the ones he caused, the ones he has been doing, causing. He couldn't stop it. Now he's now telling you that if UK sponsors genocide in Nigeria, which or in Biafra land, which they have been sponsoring before now, anyways, but because he wants to make a point here, he tells you that we will also fight even inside the UK. He was not able to stop election. He was not able to stop election even in Imo State. Just this November or this when was it held? Was it November or September? I can't remember now. In Imo State, just Imo State. He couldn't stop election in Imo State. He's coming to tell you that he wants to take fight into UK, and you don't see that you are being manipulated and deceived, or get sense. How else do you want to know somebody who is manipulated? How else do you want to know that you are being manipulated? For God's sake, I don't know whether you. I just sometimes you guys want to force someone to use words that they are not supposed to use. Sorry, let me put on the light. I think it's getting dark here. How else? You guys want someone to be using words that they are not supposed to use against you. Someone who couldn't stop election in Biafra land, as he said. Someone who couldn't. Let me see if my position will help me. Okay. Someone who couldn't stop election, even in Imo State, is now telling you that he is going to take the fight into, and people are liking it, sharing it, quoting, likes. How did we get here? He said he's going to take the fight into UK. He said he's going to take the fight into UK. I guess that I'm talking to people who are reasonable, because some of you, anyways, you live in self-denial. You just don't want to believe anything is going wrong. Just don't want to be told anything wrong. You just want to believe what you believe. Just concern you. Make we continue believing what you believe. Someone who couldn't stop election in Biafra land. Someone who couldn't stop election in just Imo State. Someone who has been showing you pictures on social media telling you that there is sit at home, and everywhere people are still selling every Monday. People are going out their normal businesses. He cannot, let's just say, because sit at home was not even his program anyways, but let's say now he wants to carry it on himself as if he's the one who is fronting it. Why can't he enforce it? Why can't he stop the people from coming out? Now he's telling you that he wants to take a fight into UK. Oh my God. He wrote something. He said during the 1967-1970 genocide, Ojukwu told Gowon, as you Fulani and Britain are killing my people unprovoked, you will be alive to witness your people die like dogs unprovoked. UK will fall. Someone greater than me will liberate Biafra. That means he's now referring to Ojukwu's statement and relating it, attributing it to himself. Everything is about himself. So it's no more Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. That means he never even believed that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is the one. And some of you who are jubilating and liking and all of that never even believed that when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said that he will lead Biafra, he will lead the people into Biafra. You people didn't believe it. You see how our people are? You easily betray. You are blaming other people who sold Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and all of that, but you are betraying Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Practically betraying him by what you're doing. Somebody makes a statement that is not supposed to make you hail him, praise him, share it. Look at breaking. When Biafra coin is unveiled, all you need to do is change your money to Biafra coin and avoid the death trap called naira. Can you imagine? So when they change it, where are they going to use it? Where are they going to trade with it? Where are they going to trade with it? You are not even in control of the territory. You want to start circulating coin to endanger the people more. I'm going to talk about this more maybe tomorrow or so. I'm going to talk about this more. I don't want to go there now, but let me just go to what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said, because I've mentioned it. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said that when he brings out the army, everyone would know. Nigeria also will testify, because that is when it's when he brings out the army, know that that Biafra has come. Why would someone claim that he has brought out an army? He knows Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's agenda. He knows that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, brings out the army, Biafra has come. That means the army will secure the territory and make sure that they defend the land, air, sea, land. So if Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said that, and now he comes up and sets up a militia group and tells you that that's an army, and that militia group is hiding one place in the bush, committing atrocities everywhere, does that not contradict what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said? Shouldn't that be a concern to you, that this is a contradiction to what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said? The reason why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped, it was intensified. The manhunt was intensified was because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said when he brings out the army, and they saw that he brought out ESN successfully, and if he's talking about bringing out an army, then this time around it's serious business. They knew that that is the end of Nigeria. They knew that once that happens, because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu doesn't say what he will not do. Whatever he has said, he does them. But check out all these criminals. What have they said that they have done? Including those ones in the DOS, because I don't have issues with them. You know why? My issue with them, I am not there. I cannot um, claim or say I have evidence that um, the whole of the DOS members connived to sell Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. But I know that some of them in that DOS office were part of the the selling of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the betrayal of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Now, the only thing that a rights organization does that is sensible that they do is this: when your leader or one of your key members gets into trouble or taken by the enemies, the first thing you do is that you set up a fact-finding committee to ensure, sorry, please, to make sure that you know what happened, even in common office. In my office like this, I'm in the office now. If something happens now, I try to find out what goes on. Why did this happen? Not to talk about an organization like IPOB, established, having resources from the nation going around, and the leader is kidnapped. Until today, people are still fronting themselves as DOS members. They cannot give account. They cannot bring a report, a comprehensive report to prove and tell the people this is what happened to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and these are the people behind it. They are waiting for him to come out to tell him. That alone is what I have against them. That discredits them. That this, no matter the fantastic idea. See, once you give me a reason to see that you are not reliable and you have a hidden agenda, then I cannot entrust the issue of freedom in your hands. It's common sense. Once I discovered when I was in with Simon's group and all of that, once I discovered that we cannot, this guy is not truthful. We cannot entrust them freedom matters into his hands. Not entrust, entrust. Because you can't talk about freedom without truth. And if the person is claiming to be truthful and the person is lying to you on freedom matters, then something is wrong. That means you are given some, it's just like putting a gold ring on the nose of a pig. Come on. Even the Bible says it. We should be practical about things. You don't put a gold ring in the nose of a swine, for God's sake. What swine is pig. When you hear of swine, is pig. You don't carry your destiny and put in the hands of someone who lies and tells you it's propaganda. Are you okay? Oh my my my. Anyways, I'm going to stop here today, but we'll continue tomorrow by God's grace. Hopefully, by God's grace, we'll continue tomorrow. We already used 1 hour 11 minutes. And I want to thank you guys for watching. Please share this broadcast on all your social media platforms, and please subscribe to this channel if you have not. Encourage people to listen. You can download and share to people. Cut the part you want to cut and give to people to listen. Like the video, share, like it first, and then share on all your social media platforms. And then subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed. We are going to grow and touch lives. This is Truth Channel Network. Truth here, Biafra can mean so many things to people, but the word truth means one thing to us. It means Biafra, freedom. And the word truth means one thing to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Truth means Biafra. It can mean other things to other people, but once you see truth, we are talking about that narrative that is what we believe in, Biafra, in truth and in spirit. Thank you so much. I love you guys. God bless you very good. Enjoy the rest of your day, your night, your evening, and stay cool. We're going to continue tomorrow, same time, Biafra time, 5:30 Biafra time. We're going to continue tomorrow, 5:30 Biafra time. Thank you so much. I love you all. God bless you very good.